Hello, everybody, and welcome back to an amazing new episode of CLX Foundry Live, where we dive deep into somebody's build, and we assemble that from the ground up. I'm your host, DJ Blue PDX, and joining me live right now from our offices and studio in Wichita, Kansas, it is our lead technical expert, Paul Steffens, and today's master builder, just like Thursday and last Tuesday's master builder, it's Zach Killingsworth.
Yeah.
I don't know why that was funny for me. So let's go ahead and get a few things out of the way. First of all, I've got to reload all of my chats, so give me a second so I can read it all and see all of the people who's in here. But what I do want to tell you is that you have an amazing chance today to get more entries into an absolutely astonishingly cool brand new PC giveaway for March. Now, this is going to be really fun because all you got to do is type exclamation giveaway in the chat and beep boop, you'll get a link. Go in there, unlock the first 5, and you can find so many different ways of actually getting more entries, which is super fun. Now, the one thing that I do know that so many of you have a question about is, hey DJ, how do I get codes? Well, let me tell you, there are several different ways for you to find codes strategically placed throughout many different locations and opportunities, and these codes are worth multiple new entries: 50, 100, 150, 200, 4, 1. Well, only plus ones are only from Nicole. But to do that, you want to make sure that you check out our streams. Codes will give it out on Tuesdays here, right here on kick.com/CLXgaming. On Thursdays, those codes are given out over on our Twitch channel, which we're also live on. That is twitch.tv/CLXgamingtv. You can also find them on our socials. That's YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, and Threads at CLX Gaming. You could also possibly, potentially, probably, perhaps find them in our Discord. That's discord.gg/CLXgaming. The other place you can find them is on my streams, which is Tuesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. So with that being said, gentlemen, we have a project, and I'm going to be honest. We have a project for Derek, and I'm going to be so since I'm from the South and I spent a lot of money getting rid of my drawl, I'm going to go ahead and say this, because if you call it Louisiana, you're a Yank. It's Louisiana. Now, who's got this and what do we got? What are we putting in it? Let's get to it.
All right, so this one is for Derek. He's configured a custom Horus off our website. So starting out with our processor, we've got the Ryzen 9 7950X3D. We're going to be doing an upgrade on the thermal paste on that. And to cool it, we've got a 360 AIO. It's a CLX quench. For our motherboard, nice. We've got Asus TUF Gaming X670E plus Wi-Fi. For our memory, we've got 2 sticks of G.Skill 32 gigabyte DDR5 6000 speed. This is the Trident Z5 in black with RGB heat spreaders. So a total of 64 gigs there. For storage options, we've got 2 different drives. For our main drive, we've got the Samsung 2 terabyte 990 Pro. It's the NVMe M.2 you can see at the front there. And then as a secondary drive, we have another NVMe drive from Western Digital. It is the SN350. For our case, we've got the O11 Dynamic Evo X in black. This is the RGB version. And we've got 10 of our Game DS Aeolus case fans to go with that. For our video card, we've got a Gigabyte RTX 4090. Really big card here. It's going to look great in this case. And then for our power supply, we've got an EVGA Supernova 1000 watt fully modular 80 plus gold GT.
1,000 watts? What do you mean? That sounds incredible. So let's go ahead and get this started. Don't forget, if you have questions about anything that you hear, whether it's terminology or a procedure, or even just basic installation questions, please, for the love of God, ask us, because that's what we love hearing. Now, while I'm resetting all of my chats because reasons and poor choices, hold on, we're almost there. I swear to God. I'm getting there, guys. I'm getting there. I'll get it together one of these days. One of these days, DJ will have his act together, or Social Ninja will not suck. All right. Now, I do see we got some folks over here. What up, Derek? Derek Venable. Hello, hello, hello. Over there on the Facebook side, we got Waldo the Goats.
Hey, that's who this is for right there. That's who this is
Derek?
for. Yeah. Derek
Venable? Yo, what up, D? I have no idea who you are, but I'm going to greet you like a friend. So first up, we're going to be talking about what we're going to be putting in as Derek's choice for the motherboard, and that is going to be our Asus TUF Gaming X670E, and that is a plus Wi-Fi ATX board. Now this is a really cool board. Let's take a look real quick at the ports because Derek definitely wanted some connectivity on the side. So I want to take a look at that I/O real quick. When we pop that up at the top, obviously you got your HDMI and your display port, which is super cool. Down below there, we've got two USB 3.2 Gen 2 ports, and that's pretty fast. Down below there, we've got a USB 3.2 Gen 2 Type C and then a 3.2 Gen 1 Type A. Type A is the thick one, C is the round one. Down below that, we've got another, we've got a 2.5 gig Ethernet port, which is just lightning fast, a USB 3.2 Gen 2, and then that USB-C down there, that's actually a USB 3.2 Gen 2 by 2. It's a lot of twos. Now, what that means, you can get 20 gigs of data up and down. So if you've got yourself a lightning fast USB-C dock or something that's going to be expanding the connectivity opportunities for your entire system or your network or your office, that is where you want to plug it in because you've got high-speed data transfer all the way across the board. Below there, you've got 4 more USB 3.2 Gen 1s, Wi-Fi 6E, Bluetooth 5.3, and of course, your BIOS flashback buttons with 5 different audio jacks. So there you go. Derek's like, what? This is so cool. I'm like, no kidding. You chose it. So, up next, it's amazing. Trevor Samples in the house. What's up, my dude? James Alcott over on the red side. Well, welcome in, bud. How are you? Violent Echo over here on the purples. Okay, now, one thing that is not purple is the thing that Zach is holding, and that's actually an AMD Ryzen 9 7950X3D. Now, this is what I would definitely say from AMD, one of the most advanced chips they have ever made to date. Paul, why is that?
So this is their top of the line chip right here. It uses their 3D technology for the V cache, which is really cool. It's basically they can store the cache vertically on top of the CPU die, which gives you more surface area, which equates to more cache. It is a 16 core 32 thread processor with a base speed of 4.2, and it will boost up to 5.7. So blazing fast and ton of cores and threads to process everything you'd ever want. That was a pretty good
James Alcott's like, James Alcott's over here on the red side like, Mr. DJ, quit slacking. Dude, I have a master's in slacking. Thank you very much. Also have a master's in a lack of hairline. Let's make it smoother, but jokes go over my head. Alrighty, now we're getting this set on, and what you'll notice right now that Zach is putting on is he's putting on the spacers for the bracket on the back end of the board because we're going to be able to cool this with a liquid cooler. Now, as you saw the last time, and I'm going to freak out just a bit because I'm super jazzed about it, the brand new CLX Quench 360 closed loop liquid coolers, the AIOs, look wicked. They're so cool. They look amazing. But the one thing I do want to make sure we cover, because there's a lot of people who actually don't necessarily understand the terminology. Paul, what is an AIO and how is this different from other cooling methods?
Yeah, so an AIO stands for all-in-one, and what that means is the liquid cooler comes right out of the box, ready to go. It's got coolant in it, all the tubes are sealed up. You just put in the right bracket that matches your motherboard socket, like Zach just did here, and then you install your pump on top. It's very easy to install. And provides great cooling. I always recommend going with these if you're kind of a first-time builder or even if you've done it 100 times. It's a really good way to cool your system without having much labor involved.
Nice. Nice. Yes, it gives you a button. Why does the motherboard have power button on them? That's a good question, Gaurav.
Yeah, so a lot of the higher end motherboards will have like a start button on them, sometimes a BIOS flash button right on top of the board. And really that's for like doing some benchmarking. Most likely, you know, if you got a high end board, you're probably overclocking. So that allows you to like set your motherboard up in a test bench where you can plug everything in just kind of like how we have on a desk. Do your overclocking and just turn it on without having to short out the power jumper. Just the easier way to turn it on, and it looks cool too.
Nice. Oh, there we go. Now I finally got chat going. Okay. Welcome in. Oh, that's the wrong keyboard. Never mind. So as we're getting this all set up, how are y'all feeling about your chances here? By the way, I can see you, Twitter. We got Facebook. We got the reds, the greens, and the blue and the purples. BB Jess in the house. Let's go.
What's up, BB Jess? How
Hi.
you doing?
Hello. Big hugs, big ups. What's up? How you doing? Good to see you, my friend. How do I enter? Well, by turning the door handle. Oh, you mean for the contest? Never mind. Exclamation giveaway. Listen, I don't do straight answers. Everything I just said is awful. Yeah, there you go. You can find that there. There are going to be codes we're going to be giving out throughout the stream. Today's codes are going to be over on the Kick side, of course, and then I'll have some on my stream later on today, which is going to be great. One thing that's also great is watching how Zach is being very specific in how he's positioning things. Now, Zach, I have a question. Is there a reason why you put the pump on a specific side or with the cables on a specific side?
So, like our hoses. Yes. Ideally, we just want it to be in line with the motherboard. So, having all of our branding just being lined up is aesthetically pleasing. Look at how pretty that looks.
Oh, nice. Well, I dig it. I dig it a lot. Up next, we've got a RAM. Nothing says fun like Dodge. Nope, wait, different kind of RAM. This is actually 32 gigs of G-Skill DDR5 6000, the fastest RAM we carry presently, for a total of 64 gigs. Now, that means you could actually double that if you wanted. If Derek wanted to actually jump to 128, it just takes 2 more 32 gig sticks of DDR6000 and it will all work. Now, Paul, is it required that you are brand specific on your RAM, or can the speeds just be the same?
So it's not required, but it's definitely recommended. Highly recommended to keep all your RAM sticks the same. That being said, if you had 2 other sticks at the same capacity and same speed, you could use them. Technically, if they were different speeds, you could use them. They just operate at the slower speed, but don't do that. It's not recommended. Keep them all the same. Just going to prevent you from having issues later on.
Speaking of slower speeds, let's talk about what's not going to operate like one of those old Toshiba 4200 RPM hard drives for a laptop. We're going to be putting 2 different drives in this system, and they're both M.2. Now, I have a dual M.2 system as well, but our operating system is actually going to be going on the same drive that I have, and it's a 2 terabyte Samsung 990 Pro. Now, this is an NVMe M.2, which means it plugs directly into the board like its own super solid state, but it's very, very small. Now, our secondary drive, which is going to be probably for the games, Derek, you tell me what you're planning on using it for. But it is a 2 terabyte Western Digital SN350X M.2, another incredible M.2 drive and incredibly fast. So, Paul, why are M.2s so specifically incredible at high-speed data transfer, as well as especially in the world of gaming?
So the big thing to take away from M.2s for transfer speed is you want to go with NVMe, and then you've got Gen 3, Gen 4, Gen 5, and so on. And the newer gen, the faster they're going to be. But the NVMe is the important thing there. So when M.2s first started coming out, they did come as SATA 3 transfer speeds, which is like what is on your motherboard with the SATA cables, kind of what your 2.5-inch drives did. So it was convenient to have them, but they weren't extremely fast like they are now. So once you get into NVMe and all the new generations, that's when they really get super fast. So gaming on these, you're not going to have any load times or anything like that. Obviously the OS is going to boot up really fast too.
I just realized I left my coffee upstairs on the counter.
Coffee time.
I am a jerk. All right. Now, I will say this, that our buddy over here on the blue side, Derek, whose PC we're building, by the way, people, says, I'm planning another one, but for my stepson will probably be a Ryzen 9 with a 4070 or 4080. Great choice. Great choice. Also, thanks for coming and hanging out and watching your stuff be built. I'm super excited. If, by the way, you would like the guys to sign the inside of the case, since you're here for it, please let us know, because they can and will do it. Because one of my biggest regrets that I didn't do was have them sign the inside of my case. What's up, Teddy Bear Killer? Teddy Bear Killer PC here. The Tough series is sick. Wiz, I thoroughly agree. I thoroughly agree about the tough system.
You're looking for any more stepsons? We got people that want to be your stepson. Sounds like a pretty good gig.
Adopt me, Daddy. Yeah. That's not something I just said out loud, is it? I did. So yeah, Zach and Paul, grab yourselves a silver pen and sign that. Derek would like it signed.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I've got a silver Sharpie at my desk, so we can definitely do that.
Tom Udall's over here like, I'll be your stepson. Hey, more music. What's going on? How are you? Alrighty. You have arrived, sir. We're trying to keep track of 8 different chats it was. Now, this is this is the Horus, yes?
That's a good one.
Am I correct in that one? This is the Horus 011 Dynamic?
This is the the 011 Dynamic Evo X, yeah.
Yes, the
Got it.
Horus.
So how does this differ from the XL?
So this is going to be slightly smaller in height, but still a full ATX case. I mean, you can see it's obviously a full ATX board that's got plenty of space in it. So it's just a little bit shorter, and that's about it.
Oops.
Whoop.
Now, I do have something that I'm going to ask because it's definitely a good question. Also, Jay Zarowski also asks it, which is a good idea. I'm sorry, not Jay Zarowski, Waldo. How much of a difference is a 360 compared to a 240 when you're talking about an AIO?
Yeah,
now, I had a 120 AIO, which was a push-pull on my old gaming PC, which was an i9 9900K. There was no chance in the ever of everdom that was going to properly cool that processor. I had to take the side off just to keep that thing cool enough. Paul, what kind of a difference are we seeing when it comes to temperatures based on how many different fans we've got going into it or off of it?
Yeah, so a 360 is going to be quite a big difference than a 240. Now, that temperature difference as far as degrees goes is going to depend on your CPU. So if you have like a lower end CPU, then you won't really notice the difference too much because it's lower end. That 240 is going to cool it just fine, and it's probably going to be at its max boost, no problems. But once you get into the high-end CPUs like what we have here, that's when you'll notice the difference even more because these high-end CPUs want to run as fast as possible, which obviously does make them run hotter. So the more cooling you've got, the better. So pretty good difference between a 360 and a 240 specifically on this processor.
Now, Jay Zarowski says, I feel like the 7800X3D is better than the 7950X3D. Paul?
So that depends on the application, but 9 times out of 10, that 7950, it's just got a lot more processing power than that 7800. Now, in some gaming environments, you know, depending on your other hardware, that 7800X3D, you might find in certain applications might perform a little bit better. But overall, the 7950 is just a stronger processor.
Yeah. Mr. Nova over on the purple says, I've owned a CLX for a while and I loved it. I just recently built a new one with an i9 14th gen and a 4090 with 128 gigs of DDR5 RAM. Damn!
Dang.
All right.
That's a beast of a system there, Nova.
Listen,
Thank you for
Mr. Nova. Yes. Nothing says I love a company like building the PC that will be blamed for Skynet.
Yeah.
Have you seen the Terminator? Come on. No, just kidding. No, I actually had somebody ask me that the other day because I was out for my friend's 40th birthday and I had to giggle because we were like, wait, so you do stuff in gaming and PCs and blah, 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 blah. I said, yeah. And one of the guys who is a PC gamer, usually asked what was in this thing, and I told him, and he's like, Jesus, are you trying to recreate Terminator? I was like, no. My PC won't do that. I will, however, call out everybody's PC who does. Looking at you, Nova. I love it. It's good stuff. Absolutely good stuff.
What's up, Hashim?
Hashim in the house. If Overkill was a PC, that's yours. Have you named your PC? Because I feel like Overkill might be your PC's new name. Oh my goodness. Now, I do want to talk about something that we're seeing Zach put on right now because it's a little different than what we usually do. So, Zach, you're putting on what looks like a potential cheese grater or a pasta strainer, but it's not. What is it?
It's an anti-sag bracket.
So definitely not involving pasta. Now, this Why does this look like a weight scale, you know, when you're in a doctor's office? The ones that lie and say that I'm fatter than I am. Also, it could be an abacus. So how does this work, and why is it a necessity?
So with the weight of modern day graphics cards, with them being triple slot, triple fan, they're pretty big, pretty heavy. This adds a blockade on the top so that our graphics card has a spot to sit, and then we can adjust for whatever width of graphics card we have. And then our little card will sit, well, our big little card will sit in here and not weigh down anything. So.
Yeah, if you guys have watched the show before, you've seen us use these anti-sag brackets. This is just kind of a new and improved version of it. Like the sliders like built in, which I think is really cool. Typically, you know, you put in the main bracket, install your card, and then you put in the actual holder that holds the GPU in. Whereas with this, it's all built in, and you press a button to unlock it, and you can adjust it that way. So it's just an improved design. It does look pretty cool, though.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, what are some of the neat features? Because I know this specific build has some unique things that the XL doesn't have. What are some of the cool features of this case as we're looking at that backside right now?
Yeah, so probably the biggest thing is the hard drive bays are a little bit different on this.
Okay.
You can see down there, we've obviously got our dust filter here at the bottom where our main intake's going to be, and our power supply is going to be in the back, like most O11s. It's just a few different design elements in this, Zach. You can probably talk a little bit more about these differences. So there's some more RGB built into this case. Anything that stands out to you, Zach, from a building perspective?
This is my first.
The first one, okay, cool.
Wait, what? This is the first time we've used this case?
Yeah, here on the show, yeah. This is the new dynamic, yeah.
Oh, this is the new. That's why I was wondering why it looked a little bit different on the back end, because I'm like, that doesn't look like the doors I'm used to seeing. So that's why I wanted to ask.
Yeah, there's a ton of different variations in the whole O11 family. So, but they all, like I said, they all just have slightly different design elements. All of them are pretty much set up the same. Sometimes the fan mounting points can be a little bit different. Typically the hard drive bays are different in all of them. I know we have that one where it's like the bays swing open and everything, so.
Yeah. All right, now the one thing you can see from this angle right here is actually the lower filter for the airflow, which is really important because this system actually has a pretty advanced way of keeping dust and things out. Paul, how does that work?
Yeah, so that goes back to this dust filter that I just mentioned here. This is just a magnetic dust filter. Now we do have these all around the case. You can see this one's kind of cut out a little bit specifically for the intake down at the bottom. But what this does is it's just a very fine filter that will keep all the pet hair, you know, larger specks of dust outside of your case, keeping it clean.
Gaming Creed says, excuse me, it's okay, nobody smelled it, we're online, it's not, so we have a smellometer here. I do have a question coming in over on the blue side. Trevor Sample, welcome in, bud, says, would an i9 12900K be good for a 4080?
Yeah, for sure. That's definitely a high-end CPU. 4080 is obviously a high-end GPU. So yeah, that's a good combination there. An i7 and i9, Ryzen 7, Ryzen 9 are all good combinations with the 4080.
Nova brings up a good point. Says, I know it's overkill, but I build pools and the rendering is RAM heavy. Oh yeah, if you're using design software, especially if you're using mechanical design software or structural design software, yeah, there is never a wrong answer for RAM unless you're in the 2 digits and in the lower 2 digits. Then you're going to run into some issues, some significant issues. Waldo the GOAT says, my first gaming PC was from CLX during the COVID era, and I have now moved on to upgrading my own PC on my own. But I have to say, CLX definitely made entering the PC space really easy with awesome customer service. So I do like seeing how CLX has evolved over the last 4 years. Dude, that's an amazing observation. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I really appreciate that.
We appreciate that.
Waldo. Yeah.
And to be fair, our customer service is kind of wicked. They're awesome.
Yeah, our support
They're
guys
awesome. I love it.
Are great. And they're all gamers too, so they'll know. You tell them, hey, I'm trying to play whatever game at this frame rate and this resolution. They're going to know what you're talking about and hook you up.
Yep. Yeah, and again, I will always from now on encourage people to check out especially with the dev level stuff, what you want, what the game is optimized for. And I say this because it's always been weird to me that I didn't get that it was, like, for example, Siege was optimized for 4K. So when I was doing 1080p gaming, thinking, the lower the resolution, the higher the FPS, not the case, because it had a downsample. So when I plugged that thing into 4K at full ultra, man, I'm getting more frames than I possibly can shake a stick at.
We've gone plaid.
Right? We've gone plaid. It's absolutely fantastic. Uh-oh. Oh, sorry, Damon. No worries. Now, I will say this. We would like to get one step closer to people unlocking the dailies because obviously the dailies are important. So let's start off with March, MRCH, also known as Michael, Roger, Charlie, Hector, 11WS, that's 11 Whiskey Sierra. So Michael, Romeo, Charlie, Elo, or Hotel, 11WS. Now, speaking of things that are WS, let's take a look at what we're going to be shoving in to make the power work here. And this is going to be something that's actually not a WS, it's a GS. Nor is it a G5?
GT.
Either way. Okay, there we go. It's a 1,000 watt EVGA Supernova. It's a great power supply. This is an 80 plus gold. Paul, talk to us about this. What makes this power supply cool?
Yeah, so this is a fully modular power supply from EVGA. Like you mentioned, it's a 1,000 watt GT version, so it's 80 plus gold. And what fully modular means is none of the cables are pre-installed. So you'll get a power supply in the box and then your cables right here. So once we get all this plastic and packaging off, I'll show you a little bit more how this works if you haven't seen it before.
Nice.
So we like these modular power supplies. One, they're usually a little bit higher end. Two, makes our tie-up easier and just looks cleaner. So you can see this is obviously our power supply brick right here. A power cord that goes into the walls right there. We got our power switch. And then all of our cables that we need to plug into our system can go right here. So we've got this big bundle of cables. Now we won't be using all of these, but we'll just pull out the ones that we need, plug them into the system, and the rest will go in the accessories bag that'll ship with the system. That way, in case you ever upgrade, Derek, you've got your cables ready to go.
Yeah. Dig it. Yep. All right. Now, one of the cool things about these EVGAs is you can also come up with cable mods for these builds, which are nice. But oftentimes you don't need it. And here's why I love EVGA. Of course, everybody loves EVGA. They're one of the greatest companies when it comes to peripherals anywhere. Well, I mean, or just components. But all of their cabling comes sheathed. And it's a nice braided sheathing.
Yeah, these cables do look nice just straight out of the box. So they'll look good in your system and they'll protect the actual cable underneath that braiding. Now, like you mentioned, if you did want to go with a cable mod kit, you just get one that's compatible with your power supply, and then they've got every color under the sun. So,
Hey, we're under
Gotcha.
True.
Right?
Praise the
Carmack,
sun.
welcome in. Hawaiian Penguin's like, look, we want Nicole. Where is Nicole? Yeah. Well, Nicole is around, but also Nicole's a job.
She gone.
So, I will say I definitely love that. What's that you're wearing there, Paul? Is that a windbreaker?
Yeah, the wind doesn't stand a chance when I got this on. Yeah, these
To be
are.
honest, same
This
with
is the
me.
gray version, the same one that you got on. I really like these. It's been a little chilly, but this is a really good light jacket when it's nice outside, but just a little chilly. So I like this thing. It looks great. It's super comfortable. I got the red
ditto.
and the
What
gray,
did-
so I get to pick whichever color I'm feeling that day.
Now, I have a question. What the hell did you just post, Nicole? Riz-PEZR. Riz, RIZZ, Romeo, Indigo, Zebra. dash PEZR Papa Echo Zebra Romeo. That is what we are. That is your next code.
Dropping that.
If that is a +1, I swear to God, I'm gonna laugh so hard.
Yeah.
Nicole's like, I heard my name mentioned. I shall come.
Far out, bro.
Zeus
I was
Let's.
gonna pull that
Zeus
door
Jets.
off, but I couldn't get it off, and I was like, whatever.
It is a +1. Nicole,
Yeah,
control. I
yeah.
love it.
Sorry. Throw that at you. Curveball.
PTS flashbacks on that one.
Yeah.
Right, there you go. Trevor mentioned that Trevor Sable says, I love my EVGA 3080. Right?
Nice.
Classic.
Put
Classic.
that in your, whenever, 10 years down the road.
That
don't
deserves
get
a
rid of
shadow
that.
box.
Frame it. Yeah, shadow box that thing.
Now, Derek does bring up a good question, or at least an observation for what he's hoping. This build, he says, should get my 200 plus FPS at 1440 on Warzone. I'm going to be honest.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like that is accurate.
Oh, yeah.
That is.
Without a problem.
You're going to blow out of there. Yeah. I mean, crap. You'll be able to pull that on 4K. Like, to be fair.
Okay, there's that.
Yeah, again, that optimization is exceedingly interesting because of the fact that, so I have a 1440p monitor that's 144. There's a way in Windows where you can actually force it into 4K mode, but compress it into 1440, which is what I do. And once I was able to do that, things are so crisp. Anybody who, if you pop on my stream later on today, you'll see it is bizarrely effective. But yeah, a lot of fun. Riptide in the house. I don't think overclocking is needed, Derek said. So I'll be honest. The only thing that I have overclocked on mine is my 3090 OC because it's overclockable, and I figured why have an OC if you're not going to do it. But Paul, let's talk about overclocking when it comes to hardware. What are some of the pros and cons of overclocking?
Yeah, so just right off the bat, pros of overclocking. I mean, just like the name says, you are running the clock speed of the CPU or the GPU, whichever component you're overclocking, past what it comes out of the box as. You're doing an overclock. So what that means is you're going to get better performance out of it. It's just going to perform better. It's like making your car go faster. Some of the cons can be that can provide more wear and tear on the component, and that's where cooling comes really in hand when you're overclocking. You want to have a good cooler if you're doing that 360 AIO or better, just to keep that component as cool and safe as possible. My personal use of overclocking is I typically don't do it until my system is on like its last leg. I know I'm going to upgrade soon, so I'm just going to get as much value out of my system as I can. So I'll push that CPU as hard as it'll go, basically run it till it dies. But there's plenty of reasons and use cases that people want to overclock brand new components, like current gen. So it's just, if you need it, do it. If not, I'd probably leave it alone.
Lucas Hale over on the blue side says, I'm supposed to receive mine tomorrow. Can't wait to jump into PC gaming. Yo, that is awesome. Make sure if you want, you can, in our Discord, at discord.gg/clxgaming, we actually have an area where you can post pictures of your setup. We would love to see your PC in your office, your game room, and just get an idea of, hey, listen, who built that? And it looks great. So, man, super excited for you. Super excited for you. Hawaiian Penguins in the house. The +1 codes will be the winning entry. Right, there you go. Anarchist Healing. Well, everybody's got to find that emotional opportunity for reflection and joy, compassion, empathy. Looking for words in a thesaurus. It also works. So, now, Zach, you're doing something interesting. You're plugging a whole bunch of fans onto a framework. Why is that a thing?
Yes, a couple cool cases have nice removable trays. This one has it on the roof, the backside here, these guys, and then the bottom. And this allows you to mount. I can do a quick cable management as well. And just makes it a lot easier to work with fans, deal with fans. When they are outside of the case rather than having to try and do this all internally.
Speaking of things internally, IMG Wichita over on the Twitter side. Hello, how are you? Glad to have you here. Obviously, you are a fan of Wichita, live in Wichita, or you somehow ended up with the last name Wichita, which is equally as confusing as it is bizarre. Or it's just production's Twitter handle. Jeez. Come on. All right. So, Sasko, what's going on? Hello, 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 hello.
What's up, Sasko?
Well, we,
Gaming Creed, good to see you.
excuse me. We had a ridiculous set on Saturday, which was really fun. I came back and did Vicious Cruise Nick. What up, dude? Had a DJ set. We gave out 2 codes on Saturday, which was really fun because I got to do one during the day and then one at night. Been lots of fun. Now, so right now, Zach is doing what we call dream hack lighting.
Yeah.
Flashlight in your mouth, and we're going to see where it goes. What could possibly go wrong? Everything.
I thought that was flawless.
All right.
I thought those were some of the 5 most flawless systems we've ever touched.
For sure, no doubt.
Again, I wish we'd have gotten footage of that assembly line that you started, because Hayden started building, like, modding these people's systems and upgrading their stuff. And all of a sudden, Zach seemingly disappears into the darkness. And the next thing I know, everything is deboxed and it's sitting in a specific, like, he's already got processors in and RAM in, and there's just an assembly line. I thought,
The dude behind me was like, what is going on over there? He like stopped gaming and came over and watched. He's like, this is more entertaining. Watching someone
amount of people
drop procs at dark.
Mm-hmm.
oh god, yeah.
Dropping
Well, and that was the
procs
funny
after
part
dark.
is,
That's our late night show right there.
wait, what?
Yeah.
Wait, what did you say?
Dropping procs after dark.
There we go. There we go.
Just talking about the processors.
Yep. It was a really interesting thing to get to see. So procs. See, procs for me is any type of procedural program command for, especially in gaming. So if,
Like a
for
Wind
example,
Fury
you,
proc?
I thought you were gonna say procs for you are professional crocs.
True. Hidden Valley Ranch. Where's Hayden when you need him? We stunned him. Set phaser stun.
Jason,
Sir?
the camera has been frozen.
Yeah.
I'll have you know. I will have you know. No. Proc stands for professionally ridiculous, overzealous characters.
Like us.
It's also procedural command triggers for, like, in the event that if you're in a game that uses what they like regional or space-based lines of engagement. So the minute you pass a certain point, all of a sudden the horde comes in. But if you stay behind that, they don't populate. So it also is a way, like, if you don't proc a certain set of weapon drops, especially like this happened a lot in Halo. If you didn't proc a certain set of weapon drops, you could back up, go back into the last area, reset the region. There was only a couple spots where this actually happened, and then go back in until you get the right weapons to drop. And I want to say that was in
ODST.
There was one in ODST. I think there was 2 in Reach. There were a couple in 5 as well. But yeah, the case looks huge. It does look huge, but it's actually not that big. So if you take a look at my case, so I've got the O11 XL. Now this is the full-sized O11. This is smaller than the Evo because the Evo is basically the size of Godzilla minus the legs. Wow, I forgot to turn my alerts off. Excuse me. I promise I'm professional at some point in life, but not today. So yours is going to be about this tall comparatively. It's not a huge difference upwise. But Paul, what are some of the biggest differences between the O11 XL and this? Actually, I can already see it. So you see how the 3 fans on mine have a gap at the top? That gap is missing on this one. So it's about, I would say, what, an inch and a half shorter?
Yeah, something like that. That's pretty close.
Not a lot.
Yeah, and that's really the biggest difference here. I mean, when you're inside of this, you'll notice a few different things. But, I mean, really, from looks-wise, it looks very close to the same.
Yeah. And Derek's like, that's why I didn't get the full size. Those looked really big. And to be fair, like, I love it because it's a great backdrop here. I get to take pictures of products and things in front of it. And you got the decor and all that jazz. But I totally understand what you mean. Like, if you want to get something a little more streamlined. In fact, we have so many different sized cases. We have all the way down to very small ITX cases. So how small can you get a computer case, Paul?
I mean, you can get real small. I'm trying to think the smallest one that we have that isn't like a Nook or something kind of off. That's just like the size of a candy bar or something.
The
but
P200
probably the P200
and the O11 Mini
The
are going to
O11
be
Mini.
and the Razor Mini are going to be our smallest.
Yeah. And those are, like, for reference, when we pull the parts to have an order built, we have these tubs that we put everything in. When we do those, if the case is like, if we take it out of the box, you can pretty much put the case in the tub with all the parts, like really small. So.
Oh, wow.
And then the difference between both, or those three cases would be the P200 is the only case that can utilize a full-size ATX power supply,
Yeah, that's a good
and
point.
O11 Mini and the Mini Tomahawk Razor both do require SFX power supplies.
And I believe, so our small ones, our little itty bitties are our Scarabs, right?
Yeah, those are the Scarabs.
That's what I thought.
And those you can fit, I mean, all high-end components in them. You can get a 4090 into a P200 if you want, so.
Which is nuts to think about. Absolutely wild to think about.
Yeah.
And I will say, anybody who's looking for those little ITX builds, we have the Scarab 011 Mini Black, and it is a teal Scarab. The design on it is absolutely gorgeous. It's fantastic the way it is, the way that it's put together. But it's tiny. It's a very little PC. So, and like I know I'm fairly certain that for when I have to replace the streaming PC, I've been talking about getting a water cooled, but I don't think I need it for streaming. Honestly, I think what I'm going to get is our Halloween Horus with the Ouija board on it. Yeah.
You're just asking for trouble.
True.
Have you seen me? I look like Uncle Fester. Of course
I'm just waiting for something to break right now, because every time we mention that computer, something dies.
Yeah.
A little bit of my soul died. Speaking of things that die, I'll tell you what's going to die today. It's a whole lot of cardboard recycling, and that's because we've got some really incredible carbon neutral packaging from Gigabyte. And this is going to be for our incredible GeForce RTX 4090, which I dig a lot. Well, that's definitely not carbon neutral, but okay. Now, also, for those of you who are ASMR fans, check it out. Right now, Paul is going to be walking you through how to aggravate people who are definitely OCD about this. You and your candy plastic. Leaves the Ouija board out of this chat. Vicious Kuznick. Man, how are you doing? How's the crew doing? I hope everybody's good over there. What'd you miss, Cosworth? Well, we've got a couple codes out, some absurdities. We've also got Andis Crow says, I got the CLX set and you love it. Heck yeah, Andis. Andes. Andis or Andes. Mine's pretty small, but it's a pre-built and it's got a 4060 in it. Heck yeah. That is great to hear. It's always so bizarre to me to see how small PCs can get, especially since we all came from that era of, like, you know, big boy crazy. Now, speaking of big boy crazy, let's take a look at this, because this has got a flat matte black design to it. This is the Gigabyte 4090. Paul, walk us through this card.
Yeah, so like I said, this is the Gigabyte 4090. It is a triple fan model. It is the WindForce. So we've got a lot of copper heat pipes you can see running inside there. And we have this whole section in the back that our heat fins go. So our heat will come kind of this way throughout the card, and the fans will blow that heat away. So I'm just getting all the plastic and everything off of it.
But Paul, I see there's a section missing on the back end of that graphics card. Why is that?
Yeah, so this is just room for our power connector. So you can see it right in there. So that's where our power cable will come in, and I think they do this so that the cables can kind of come in from the side and go down or through the back of the case. Gives it a little, I think, a little bit better look than it being out here on the front like some cards do. So yeah.
So Derek mentioned, this is my part, want to see graphics card go in since I have to install it. It doesn't ship installed.
Yes, that's right. So on these big cards like this, we like to not ship them inside the system because when they're this big, even with an anti-sag bracket and the foam that we put inside of the system, this can shift around quite a bit. These cards are really high-end, very heavy, so we don't want any shipping damage to occur. So yeah, we'll be a little bit more descriptive than we usually are, Derek, when we're putting this in. That way you can kind of have like a little tutorial, and then if you want to watch it when you get this system, you can just go to the VOD and kind of play it back. So we'll be a little bit more in depth on this.
Clip.
Hell yeah.
We will, and of course, all of our shows are on our YouTube channel, so you can always just pop back over there and throw some things together. But yeah, it's a very good point that they ship. Like, I think mine is right there at the limit. Mine shipped, my 3090 OC shipped inside of it, but I think that's pretty much right there at that level of like, all right, this is the most we can actually do without having to ship it separately.
Mm-hmm. So we're going to put this video card off to the side for right now. We're going to do a little bit more cable management, and then we'll get back to that card, Derek. So
now, while we're doing that, I do want to give a shout out to Michael Jones over on the Facebook side. It says, my wife, brother, good friend, and me.
Who?
My wife, brother, good friend, and me have all bought our PCs from CLX Gaming. I recommend to anybody. Heck yeah, that is what we like to hear.
Hey man,
Let's
I want
go.
to see that stream room on our Discord page.
Right.
Yeah, that's
also,
awesome.
yeah. Michael, check it out. Go head over to discord.gg/CLXgaming. We actually have a setups area. Would love to see the pictures of all of your CLX PCs posted in there. It's always a jazz and a joy to be able to watch and see people's systems and come together.
These doors are so huge.
Oh yeah, Chris Nick's like it looks sweet, but I believe in the supernatural, so I will never come to this house. Chris Nick, on the same page, except for I already have ghosts in this house. What could possibly go wrong?
More.
The possibilities are
This is
endless.
Have you?
Right.
Did you get up and walk out on what was that movie? Oh my gosh.
Halloween?
No, they made a whole bunch of Paranormal Activity.
Oh,
I
yeah.
ain't seen those. Nope, we ain't ever seen those.
Cosworth Art says, anyone know if Jwong has put a code out? I've looked but can't find one. That's something you're going to have to ask Jwong. You have ghosts and demons that follow you? I mean, yes, but don't we all?
And we're gonna open that up for.
Bum, 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 bum. Don't forget, if you'd like to know more about the PC giveaway, it's exclamation giveaway right now in the chat. You can get that link and get started on all of the things that you need to do in order to get that. Plus, we've got codes. I've got a code coming out today on my stream, which will be fun. Today, we're going to be playing golf with friends over on my stream, as we remember my former lead mod who passed last year. So it's going to be a great day of hilarity and absurdity. Now, one of the things I think I love about the tough gamings are the design of them when it comes to the tough gaming nomenclature, all of the identifiers on the board. Plus, they're built exceedingly solid. So one thing I will say that we definitely want to make sure that we're gonna show Michael is Derek is what he's gonna need to do with regards to that anti-sag bracket.
Yeah, this will be, and this new anti-sag bracket is going to be super easy. You won't have to install any screws. You can kind of see there at the bottom of it, there's a little button on the right side if you're looking at the screen, and that's what you'll adjust. But yeah, we'll show you that too. I got two SATAs laid outside. So.
I need three.
Three separate cables?
We are good.
We're good?
Just one.
Cool. Just one. Gotcha.
Just one with 3 heads.
Look at that. EVJ's got our backs.
EVJ knows how many they
Yeah,
want.
they know what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Ivory says new codes, no ghosts, no demons allowed. It is QRTR-25. That is Quebec Romeo Tango Romeo -25.
It's a quarter and the number's 25.
Yeah, quarter
Whoa.
25.
Tell me this isn't a
I know.
simulation.
Neo! Neo!
We've
Neo,
taken
come
the
get me.
blue pill.
Yeah, we're back in it, guys.
They got us. We thought it was purple, but it was blue.
Yeah.
Right? I'll be honest, that is still one of my favorite, like if I'm sick or something and I need to just put something on the background to enjoy but not have to really think about, I love going through that trilogy. And I loved the fact that the new one was basically a tribute to the first three. There were so many callbacks to different
spoiler
things
alert.
like, uh-oh. What?
Neo
I
gets
did
unplugged.
nothing with
seen
spoiler.
it.
Yeah.
Well, you
Which-
just
the
said
new
it's
one?
a throwback to all of the other ones. I didn't know that.
It's there
Hey,
is some
did you know that in
there's
I Am Legend the dog dies?
Oh.
Yeah, sad. I'm crying inside
there's
about
a
it.
difference between a callback to the other films and
Dumbledore
telling me that the
dies.
damn dog dies. I never finished the movie.
Yeah. Well, now you know.
Have
Will
you
Smith
heard
gets
they're,
eaten by
are
the
they
dog.
bringing that back?
What? I Am Legend?
Yeah, I thought there was a sequel that was coming out.
Yes, the sequel is I Was Legend.
Another kind of end of times is what was it? Book of Eli? Isn't there like a prequel coming out for that?
That'd be crazy.
That movie was cool.
By the way,
It's like
quick
right when that
correction
stuff
on
went down.
the last code. It's quarter QRTR-25 Connecticut. That is Quebec Romeo Tango Romeo -25 Charlie Tango. There we go. Tom Udo, welcome.
Okay.
A lot of his tributes reruns that I do not have any understand knowledge of. Okay. Wait.
Jwong got me wanting to play some Marvel vs. Capcom 3, man. I was going
Right.
back and watching that Evo. So cool.
Trevor says, he said, not sure if the Triple J was Justin. No, that's Zach. So as Zach mentioned last stream, he didn't have internet at his house. How does he live? Well, that's what allows his hair to grow so fast.
He survives.
When
He
I
only
get
takes
home,
2 days off of.
I have to walk uphill in the dirt, in the snow, while the sun's beating down on my back, and it's raining, and a tornado's going on.
Oof.
You know, just typical Kansas life.
That's right.
It's like today's 70. Tomorrow we're expecting snow. You know.
Yeah. It's always funny because when people mention snow and sunlight, they're like, well, that's two completely different things. Honestly, so the last time that I was up snowboarding, which was right before the accidents, was probably 2011, 2012. I remember we were up. It was a beautiful day. Fresh powder. It was so nice. But, you know, you get up there in the sun and you are just sweating in your gear. So we would always take a backpack with us up there and then pull off our gear. We just had swim shorts underneath it, throw that into the backpack and then board down, because at that point but I would always get sunburned because I'm basically slightly creamier than a piece of paper. And the bounce back off the snow was just horrific.
Yeah, and you're so high up too, you know. Closer to the sun.
Less atmosphere, more opportunities to make stupid choices.
Taking Vaseline and sticking it in my
Doing
nose.
that? Yeah.
So your nose won't dry out.
And on your lips.
smart.
And on your lips. Yep.
Yeah, the
big time
The
on the lips.
chapstick is like always want to have that.
Must
when you're doing
have.
that.
You go through one stick in a weekend, it's really easy to, and you're just like, "Arr, arr."
Are we eating it? What is it?
That's a snack.
So we used to do
flavor.
2 run. We would do 2 runs down, and then throw our jumpers back on, and then go and do hot buttered rums, and then get back up, and go and do another double. And that was our cycle.
I want them to bring back. I know Paul will remember this, but DJ, do you remember the Dr. Pepper lip balm and like the soda flavored lip balms? Yeah.
Yep. I do.
Bring those back.
Smackers, Smuckers.
I mean, I also remember when the original powders came out for popcorn.
What the heck is going on?
So I think they first showed up, I want to say, in like the late 80s, early 90s. And so you could get them and you just pour the powder into and you shake it up. So you get these different flavored, it's just basic popcorn, but then you put the flavor pack in there, shake it up, and then pop it. And it was cool. And then it disappeared for like 12 years and you could never find it anywhere. And then suddenly it's back now.
Remember purple ketchup?
Do you remember when popcorn was first discovered? I remember when we first learned that you didn't have to fight corn to get the corn off the cob. I just thought, it's waving in the wind. It was trying to attack me. But then again, we had also just invented the wheel and discovered fire. So,
Gotta shuck it.
I miss Zimas.
Oh, God. I do, but I don't. Man, I don't know if I'm allowed to tell that story online.
Yeah, we had green ketchup too.
Oh, God.
Green and
Y'all
purple
need
Heinz
a-
Easy Squirt or whatever it was.
God.
With smiley fries.
No. Smiley fries. Jesus. What is happening?
Smiley fry.
Yeah, those little smiley faces you put in the oven.
What?
You didn't have those? They're like smiley face potatoes.
Paul,
Oh my goodness.
I was a senior in high school before I had Pop Rocks. I was in college before I had Kraft macaroni. It was
What?
last year
Oh
before
my
I ate
God.
ramen out of Josh's office.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
I am
wanna-
a homesteader guy.
I see.
Oh, God.
Oh, how the turntables. Now I've got chickens.
Real quick, I want to jump over to Arctech on the TikTok side. What's up? How are you? Wants to ask our opinion on the D30 fans.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of those fans. No, we like those fans. They connect really well so that you don't have a bunch of cables. You can basically make a stack. So if you've got 3 fans connected, like the intake or what you see here, you can put all those fans together and then just have one cable that powers them. So big fan. They do come at a premium, but I mean, they're worth it if you got the cash. Derek, we are going to be installing the video card now. So if you're there, we're starting this now. So what Zach's doing right here is he's taking out these covers. These covers will keep out, so you don't got to worry about this part. You got 2 thumb screws here. Now
why do we have 2?
Because we've got 2 mounting points on our video card. So these screws, when you get them, we're going to put them back in this empty slot when we take this card out to ship. Whoop. So that's where those screws will be. You'll just take them out to use them to install. Zach, I guess, I'll let you take over from here. Yeah, make sure that PCI clips down.
Yeah, so we have got an open and closed position in our PCI clip. So we want to make sure that it's open, not closed. So have that open. And then also with our bracket, have that dropped all the way. The way I like to line it up is I'm
going to do this while you're explaining.
I will kind of guide my tips here. There's a little bit of slot right here just on this side of the motherboard that has to go into. And then I just make sure that my PCI slot just like that goes right in. Have it on a nice flat surface to push down, and that will lock that clip in place. If it doesn't get locked in place, we could take a little U-hook, get behind it, and pick it up. And then the next step that I do is lock it in place, because this is where it is securely grounded. And I'll kind of...
Derek, good.
I'll kind of lift up on the card and then put my finger somewhere to help push this way. So I'm pushing this way and this way. And then
Derek,
I will
if there's any
tighten.
steps in here that are confusing or that you want clarification on, please let us know. This is the time.
Yeah, and obviously you can call us or reach out to us when you get it. Like, don't feel like this has to be the last instruction you get. So.
And then I tighten the graphics card down, and then that's when I come over to my anti-sag bracket, because if we do this first, we can still move the card to have to screw it in. So you want this secured first because this is your main point of contact, excuse me, and then we will just push that up to it, and then
do that one more time.
So that the way this one is I just push in on that button there and lift up, and it just snaps in place. Other ones, like where that screw is, you just be putting a screw in, and then from here there is no wiggle because it's locked on top and bottom.
And then for the power cable, we'll leave this just inside the case, kind of hanging out, so all you'll have to do is plug it in, and we'll show you that in a sec. That'll be the easy part.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, absolutely no problem if you need assistance in getting this pushed up, plugged in, connected, or anything. Please give us a ring. Easy peasy, no worries. Again, our customer service is bar none the best in the entire industry. Granted, I'm kind of slightly, potentially, possibly, allegedly biased-ish.
So yeah, so you can see this is where your power cable goes right here. And we'll, like I said, this cable will just kind of be hanging out. So you'll just plug it into the side right there. Very easy.
Well, yeah. Zach, once you get that plugged into the power supply, let's just unplug and replug into the graphics card just so he sees how that's going to go.
Yeah, I got to get this big old dongle set up first, and then I was going to do that.
Yep. Get that big thing plugged into the boo-boo. So, Ortiz talking about founding codes on different things. Yes, and again, you guys, codes can be found on Tuesdays in this chat, Thursdays in the purple chat, on our socials, that is YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, and Threads, at CLX Gaming, possibly in our Discord at discord.gg/CLX Gaming, and of course on my channels. So, always lots of options. Plug it in, plug it in. Yes.
Is that like the Glade plugins?
Yeah, it's the Glade. Yeah, listen. I am an unfortunate jingler. Oh my gosh. It used to be for the longest time. What up, Dadzilla? It used to be for the longest time, especially as a kid when I was a teenager. For those of you who are, I don't know if you remember, there was a thing called Payless, and Payless was like a,
shoe store.
Like a Walgreens, but also like Payless also had they had clothes and food and things. Anyways, and so I always giggled because for me, Christmas was when you started hearing the Payless Christmas commercials. Merry Christmas from Payless, Merry Christmas, and that for me as a kid was like, all right, it's finally the holidays. Yeah, now it's just a shoe store if I'm not mistaken. It used to be bigger. Joe Lyman says. Says, when I had a problem and called, I thought the person I was talking to was a robot because of his voice. But 5 out of 5 customer service. What's up? Honestly, so I used to do, I worked in customer service and technical support for US West, Quest, Adobe Software Systems, 3Com. And every time I was doing it and I answered the phone, or even when I was working at Ansax and Kohler, people were like, are you real? Are you alive? Thank you for calling CLX Customer Care. How may I help you? Yeah, that can be a little bit distracting. Like, what? What's your favorite color to light up a PC? Lily Lilac T, I'm going to say for me, definitely blue.
I got to go with
definitely
green.
Blue. Now, let's talk about that door.
Yeah, look at that tie up.
Now, what do you get if you add a K to that? Zach?
Huh?
Add a K to what?
What do you get if you add a K to that? To the door.
To the door.
Dork. All right, I'm gonna stop.
I thought we were talking about like a K and like of weight because of how heavy it is. And I was like, adding a kilo on this thing, and oh man, it's already weighed a lot. But
All right, so now we've got that in. First of all, Derek, I want to make sure that you're feeling comfortable with everything you just saw. And do you have any questions before we start doing other things involved with this? I just want to make sure. Do we need the guy talking of watching a PC being built? Oh, Belger Xavier. You know what? I appreciate that. I appreciate that so much. That means actually a lot to me. There we go. So, all right, he's feeling good about it. So let's go ahead and get started with the next step. But while we're doing that, I want to take a quick break. Not break. We're going to take a quick moment because I want to tell you and show all of you how you can get your hands on one of the best PCs in the industry from a company that actually loves what it does. Let's head on over to clxgaming.com. At clxgaming.com, we try and make this as easy and simple as possible for you to be able to get the PC of your dreams that's configured in a way that's going to be advantageous for everything you want. Whether you're looking for a very tiny ITX build or something as large as an 011 Evo, you've got all of these options available to you, and you get to choose everything from your processors to your graphics cards, motherboards, you name it, we've got it. Now, we do also have a way of actually ensuring that your configuration is compatible with itself. And you see that little green button up top? It says add to cart. Well, in the event that you happen to select two things that aren't necessarily compatible, that's going to turn to yellow. And so the one way that I love to describe this is, say you've chosen a DDR5 motherboard, but you chose DDR4 RAM. Well, the system's going to tell you, hey, you can choose a DDR4 motherboard to work with the DDR4 RAM, or choose one of these DDR5 RAMs to work with your DDR5 motherboard. Once you've solved that conflict, everything goes green and you get to go back to configuring your PC. There are so many different options and things you can do with your PC. Whether you want to get it liquid cooled, open loop, or closed loop, you can also choose to get it overclocked. GPU, CPU, both. You can upgrade your thermal paste. We also have multiple different things, from extra hard drives to data, you name it, we got it. Plus our accessories, and this is where things start getting really, really fun. So we've got t-shirts, windbreakers like Paul and I are wearing. We've also got everything from mice, keyboards, headsets, routers. We even have streaming gear. You want to get yourself an internal capture card? We got them. You want some way of actually controlling your screen and a really good mic? Don't worry, we got Beacon products, a Beacon mix crate, Beacon mic, and the Beacon creator package, which is both of those two things combined. Absolutely love it. And also, ironically, with this month's giveaway, you're getting a Beacon mix crate and a mic. I'm so excited. It's going to be fun. So with that said, I know it can be kind of daunting building your own PC, and that's okay. We also have pre-builts, and these are what we call our ready-to-ship models. Our ready-to-ship models, we have dozens of different configurations, and it's also a great place to kind of look at and see where you want to start, kind of depending on where your budget's at and how that's going to work. So you can choose from a multitude of different options and adjust and tweak it as much as you'd like. And it's already tested, waiting in a box, looking for a home, and that home might just be yours. So for all of your future PC needs, check it out. It's clxgaming.com. And yeah, and I agree. Now, I want to say this real fast because I did mention something, Paul. We talked about testing. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, so once the machines are built and turned on, they go to our testing department, and that's where we will first get into the BIOS of the system. We'll make sure our RAM speed's set correctly, all of our storage devices are showing up. And then from there, we'll actually load the system. So your operating system, if you picked any games on our website, that's where we'll load those. If you didn't pick any games, you just get a fresh OS. We don't put any bloatware on our systems. You're not going to get a bunch of different antivirus, any programs you don't want on your system. Once we've done that, we'll actually stress test the system for about 12 hours. And what that does is make sure everything is stable. So sometimes a component here, an M.2, a stick of RAM, something like that will turn on. But once you start gaming and using that component, it can cause it to fail. So that allows us to catch any of that stuff here. That way you get a stable machine at home.
Excellent. Also, Ark, I did actually ask that question a few minutes ago. It was actually just only a couple minutes after you asked it. So definitely did that. Yeah, and Maven over there on TikTok, definitely considering getting it. Absolutely agree. So, as far as the D30 fans, the question we were talking about, we really like the D30s only because they're multi-connective. So really easy to stack, really easy to pair in. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, no worries. What OS will you be installing on the system?
This one is going to be, let me make sure I'm not lying to you guys, Windows 11 Home.
Yes, there we go. And popping down here, Trickster said, what's the difference between the Intermax Liquimax ARGB 360 AIO and the Intermax Liquimax ARGB closed loop liquid cooler?
Those sound to be the same thing to me.
That's the same thing. Yeah. And AIO is a closed loop system. The beard is coming in great. The hoodie is okay too, I guess. Jeez, Dadzilla. And it's fast, too. If you think this is drip,
you ain't seen nothing yet. I'll just say that.
I do want to give a shout out to Nick Kohler over here. Now, is that Kohler? Because I used to work for the Kohlers, which is really funny. CLX is one of the best build interfaces out there for sure, and not loaded with a bunch of parts that are listed as the brand of the build company, so you don't know what you're actually getting. CLX uses all big name brand components. Absolutely dig it. Agreed. Fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Now, here's the thing. Are we ready to show Mr. Derek here what it's going to look like?
We are ready to go.
Derek, are you ready? This is going to be fun. All right, let's see what's in this amazing build for our friend Derek in Louisiana. Oh. Let's do it. Okay, you know what I didn't realize about this is the top LED bars. Unlike the 011 where I've got that on the side, this is a top and bottom. What?
Oh yeah.
That is slick.
Looks really good.
That is so slick. Good. Yeah, that's my family been debating going out to Wisconsin. Work for so funny, Nick. I used to work for Ann Sachs. So that's ironic. That is an amazing looking build. Let's once again go back through everything that has been put inside of Derek's incredible PC that we're going to be sending out here once it goes through testing. This, of course, is a Horus 011 Dynamic Evo Tower with those incredible LED bars on the top and bottom. I'm just going to take a minute to get over that. This is an AMD Ryzen 9 7950X 3D processor mounted on an Asus TUF Gaming X670E plus Wi-Fi motherboard. It has 64 gigs of DDR5 6000 RAM and, of course, that beautiful RTX 4090 graphics card. The operating system is being installed on a 2TB Samsung 990 Pro NVMe M.2, and our secondary drive, assuming for games and other things, is going to be a 2TB Western Digital SN350 X NVMe M.2. Our system is going to be cooled. The bot processor is cooled by a CLX Quench 360 closed loop liquid cooler and AIO plus 10 Gamedeus Aeolus M2 ARGB fans, and it's all being powered by a 1000-watt EVGA Supernova 80 Plus Gold. Absolutely incredible. Well done, guys. And Derek, thanks for being here. Once again, if you have any questions once you get it, please let us know. We'll be more than happy to help you get everything installed and up and running. Let's see here. Oh. All right, well, there we go. Just had to read that and check in. So with that being said, this show is going to happen in 2 different parts today, as usual. We're going to take a break in just a few moments, and when we come back, we're going to be spending an afternoon with Zach as he continues to build some really incredible components and shows you some other incredible ASMR moments without me talking over the top of everything. So with that being said, this show happens every Tuesday and Thursday right here on Kick and Twitch. On Tuesdays, we give out codes on the Kick channel. That's kick.com/CLXgaming. On Thursdays, the codes go out on the Twitch channel. That's twitch.tv/CLXgamingtv. If you want to catch up on all the latest and greatest things that are going on with CLX Gaming and potentially find yourself another code, make sure you're following us at CLX Gaming on YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, and Threads. You can also possibly find some codes along with a like-minded group of PC enthusiasts and gamers in our Discord community, and that is discord.gg/CLX Gaming. You can also find codes on my channel, which I will have a code today once the CLX show is over for a bunch of people to get extra entries to win that PC. For more information on how to get into that giveaway, type !giveaway in the chat right now and see what you can do. So, on behalf of Kyle and Jason in production, Paul and Zach, I'm DJ Blue PDX. Don't go away. We have more coming up in just a few. We'll be right back.
Thanks, everybody, and thank you, Derek.